Alright, good morning. This is Higher Tech coming to you live, remotely. If you are watching, thank you so much for watching. If you're listening via the app or via this YouTube video, thank you as well. Glad to be with you this morning on Higher Tech. Higher Tech. Higher Tech. Technology with a purpose. On crossover radio, radio with a purpose. Man, today's going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but I know everyone's sad. It's okay. We're going to be talking some of the secondhand selling apps, the buying, selling, trading apps that are out there with Craigslist, letgo, and some others. I definitely want to be a resource for that, because sometimes you can get really good deals as a church, a ministry, a business, and I definitely want to try to clue you in on some things that will help you in that process. It is something that I use a lot, and I know some people are like, I'm not sure about this, but I at least want to give you some tips if you do use those, and how you can definitely save some money, not just as a church or ministry, but also as a business, and just you personally. And so we're going to be going over that, as well as just talking about some things in the world of technology from the past week. So like I said, it's going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but no worries. We will definitely dive headfirst into this. All right. I hope everyone enjoys the new music beds. Got some new music beds, and trying them out. We'll see if they stick. Let's go ahead and get started, because there are a few things that have happened in the realm of technology, and I want to go ahead and start diving into those. So a little bit of like how can we word this? Rapid rewind light. So we'll go over those actually right now. Pulling up the stories, because there were a couple of really interesting ones that immediately jumped out at me. First, everyone who has watched the show for any amount of time knows how big of a space nerd and space fan I am. There is a show or a documentary that's coming on PBS called The Farthest, and it's about the Voyager, and yeah, since it's the first man-made anything to go outside of the solar system, and it's going to be really, really exciting though. It's going to be really kind of cool to kind of see just some behind the scenes stuff and different information about it. I think it'll be really good. So you'll definitely want to check that out. It's going to be on PBS November 15th. Yes, November 15th. It will air. I'm pulling it all up here. It will air, of course, on PBS. And my phone's being slow. There you go. At 9 Central on the 15th. And some different things that it has as captions. Man, this is really cool. 12 billion with a B miles and counting. That's going to be cool. That's going to be really, really cool. Also, there was a kind of a projection article, if you will, by CNBC. It talks about today's smartwatches, and although they can do quite a bit right now, they're still limited in what they can track. But they're predicting in the future that they'll know a lot more about you. Some things that people are pushing for: being able to track blood pressure without piercing the skin. And I think honing that is really is really the key there. And then you have tracking blood sugar with no needles required. Now, as this article notes, it's difficult because other biological molecules look like glucose to the tools that are used to look through the skin. And that's just a direct quote. It says, moreover, while some approaches have worked well in a lab, they fail to provide accurate results when used in the real world. But man, if someone figures it out, they're going to make a ton of cash. Because there's going to be a lot of people who are like, hey, I'm diabetic. I don't want to pierce my skin. I just want to wear a watch. And it will monitor it for me. And they're going to have constant monitoring too, which is good. That's a really, really good thing. This notes, what's the timeline? And there's a quote by, let's see here, Thomas. There we go. Dr. Chris Thomas, Research Fellow and Director of Biosensor Technology for the Abbott Diabetes Care business. So he says, for the past 15 years, non-invasive glucose devices have been considered 5 years away. For now, maybe it's 3 to 5 years away. And it could also be longer, he suggests, depending on the regulatory requirements. So that'll be interesting. Tracking mental health with digital tools is another one in the future. They're trying to do things like working on ways to correlate keyboard patterns and how you use them with outcomes like depression and mania. So they'll be able to kind of analyze what you're doing as far as how you're typing, and it will help them know, different mental things too. So anyways, those are just some of the things that they think are going to happen that are going to happen with different technology with regards to wearables and what they'll be able to track. So that's going to be interesting. This can be really, really interesting as time goes on to see how that business develops, how that technology develops. I think it's very promising. I know that even for a friend of mine, the recent things that were released with watchOS 3 were a big deal for him. He has some different heart issues that were genetic, and so as far as his ability to track his heart, it's constantly monitoring his heart, it could wind up saving his life. So it's a really, really big deal, and it's going to be really exciting to see where that goes as a technology. I love technology like that, because it's not about trying to engage people by keeping them longer in a game. It's not about trying to keep people watching videos longer. Irony, I know, because you're watching a video if you're on YouTube Live. But it's no longer about those things with this side of it. It's about how can we make it better to help people's lives better and to help their lives last longer. And that to me is a really, really big deal. So that's going to be exciting to see where that goes. I think it's really, really cool. So anyways, I think that'll be really, really, really interesting. So if you are one of the millions of people that use WhatsApp, it's an iOS, well, it's not just iOS, but specifically on iOS 11, there's a message that warns not to close the app. That is from them. People are not happy about it. But the firm is reported to be aware of the problem and will fix it in a future patch. Here's the thing I don't get, and maybe if we have listeners that use it, you can fill me in. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure why you would use WhatsApp. It's kind of just text messaging, right? Why not use iMessage or something like that? Now maybe there's a good reason. Maybe it's because of the cross phone compatibility. things like that. But in that case, well, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of things that you could do with it, but I don't understand it. I'm not really 100% sure why you would want to do that, but maybe it's good. Maybe it's really, really good. So a couple other things here. Get them pulled up from the last week in tech. Perfect. If you are keeping your ears open for some technology deals for Black Friday, Best Buy, their ad has leaked. If you're looking for a video game system for you or for your children or a friend, maybe you're a good friend if you're buying a game system. Which, by the way, I got to tell you a story right after this. This note. But you can buy an Xbox One starting at oh man, you can buy it starting at what it shows here, $190. That's really nice. And that's the S model, so that's cool. Nintendo Switch, PS4, all very much more affordable. Tons of TVs. Whoa, tons of TVs. Hey, now here's a good deal. A 50-inch sharp 4K UHD smart TV for $180. That's big time. That's incredible. That's a great deal. Yeah. Evan might be buying a TV this Black Friday. Toshiba also has a 4K TV, a 55-inch for $280, which is a good deal. Not as good as $180 for a 50-inch sharp. That's incredible. Some smartphone deals. If you have been waiting for getting an iPhone and you decided, hey, I don't want to pony up for an iPhone X, that's me, by the way. That's me and my wife. We're like, nah. You can save $200 on the iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus with qualified activation. AT&T, Sprint, Verizon. Now, I don't know if that's new or if that's existing. This article wasn't super clear. It just said activation. Maybe it's just activation of another next plan. I don't know. But man, $200. It's going to drop the 8 model to $499. Your payments are going to be super cheap. You can maybe just buy it up front. That's incredible. That is really incredible. Additionally, there are some Amazon Fire tablets that are just super, super cheap. An 8-inch Amazon Fire HD, 16 gig, $50. For an 8-inch Amazon Fire HD 8 gig, so half the space, $30. That is incredible. That is incredible. Man. That is awesome. Some additional deals. There are wearable deals. If you're going to get an Apple Watch Series 1, it'd be $200. Save $50. That's okay. A lot of the watches aren't super discounted. Unless you want to get like a Garmin Vivo Active HR. I personally wouldn't recommend doing that. It's just my personal take on it. A lot of people won't agree with me, and that's okay. A lot of Wi-Fi deals. And camera deals as well. Man, this is just a really, really cool deal. And this is just at Best Buy. So you can imagine that it's going to be expanded with other distributors and sellers. And I bet Amazon's going to have some really good deals too. It kind of is hit or miss, but I bet you they have some pretty decent ones. The Amazon Fire TV stick at Best Buy will be $25. That's it. $25. Man, that is really, really good stuff. If you're looking for one of the smart speaker or home devices, the smart home devices where you can talk to it and it does all these commands. So some of the famous ones: Amazon Echo, Echo Dot. Those are going to be on sale. Amazon Echo Dot second generation will be $30. The Google Home Mini will be $30. Amazon Echo second generation will be $80. Google Home will be $80. But pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff for sure. If you're looking for laptops, they're going to have some laptops as well on sale. I'm trying to see any that I would personally recommend. A 15.6-inch Dell Inspiron touchscreen laptop for $360. Not bad. Not bad. So for all of you who are looking for a really, really good deal, some of those may appeal to you. But there's a ton of deals. So just check out their ad. Excuse me. Very, very sorry about that. So check out that ad, and you'll find some good deals in there for sure. You can just search. For one, I found this on BGR, which is a kind of a techie website, or at least just a good website for just finding other information. But definitely very tech focused, and they had the ad on there as well as a breakdown and text of what the different deals were, and that makes it really easy instead of having to flip through an ad online and things like that. It makes it a lot easier, but I'm sure you could find it as well. Just search Best Buy 2017 Black Friday deals. I'm sure it's going to get you to the right place. So those are really, really interesting deals. I said I want to tell you a story. It's in reference to friends buying their friend a gaming console. This story goes back about 9.5 years ago. It'll be almost 10. And, well, let's do this. Let's go to a break, and you can hear the story right after these messages from our wonderful sponsors. So we'll be right back. YouTube Live, we are currently in a commercial break for the radio side of it, so just be patient with me. We're gonna get up and running again, and we'll finish that story out. Just to give you a little bit of a clue and a tip, it was for my bachelor party that I received this gift. And I think you'll enjoy the story though. It's really, really good stuff. But man, it was right before I got married. I've been married almost 10 years now, and really, really enjoying that as much today. In fact, more today than what I did whenever we first got married. And my wife is wonderful, and we have a beautiful family. And in fact, I have really good news. For all of you who follow me, you know I have one son. But that may not be the case anymore. We're waiting to find out some information, but I'll share more as we find out more. About 30 seconds or so, and we will be ready to go. So hang tight with me, YouTube Live. We'll be right back. Here we go. Alright, we are back here on Higher Tech on Crossover Radio. Higher Tech, technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose. Glad to be with you this morning. It is, it's a little early. I get it. Some people aren't always used to being up this early, but I appreciate everyone who is joining me right now. It is awesome. Really, really appreciate everyone joining in and listening in this morning. So I had mentioned a story that I wanted to tell you about about friends buying friends game systems, and man, it's a pretty good story. So let's kind of dive into that. Bear with me real quick. I'm actually sharing this video on Facebook as well, so hang tight with me. There we go. Perfect. Everything wants to run slow when you're wanting to get something done. That's the one thing you need to know about technology. It knows when you're in crunch time, and most of the time, unless you have something brand new, it's not gonna cooperate well. It just won't. So just always know that. It's just kind of how technology is. It's bad. It's mean. It's cruel, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to learn to take things and kind of just roll with the punches, because otherwise you're gonna be getting upset. There's no need for that. Just let it go. Let it go. That's my recommendation. Just let it go. Debbie says, good morning and great day. Great day to you as well. She said she loved the Thunder update this morning. Technically, yes. I think it did cross into the midnight AM. And thank you so much for the congratulations. I appreciate that, Debbie, as well. Getting everything up and going. Still running a little slow. There we go. Perfect. That's what we need. Finally. So to continue my story. It was before I was getting married, and there was, which was 9.5 years ago, and my wife and I are going to be celebrating our 10th year anniversary this May. But it was about 9.5 years ago, and it was my bachelor party. It was just some guys. We went and ate at P.F. Chang's, and then went back to my buddy's house and played some games, because I was a lot bigger into gaming then. I still enjoy gaming, but I was a lot bigger into gaming then. We had a big crew of us that all of us pretty much played and enjoyed playing. And so we went back to his house because he had like the awesome bachelor pad set up where he had Ethernet links in all the rooms, and we just hooked up all of our Xboxes, had a big LAN party, and it was incredible. It was really, really awesome. But all that being said, I was a poor college student. I had not bought an Xbox for myself at all, ever. The last game system before that I actually owned, let's see, what was that? It was, I'm trying to remember if I actually bought a Wii. I think I did. I bought a Wii, used, but I bought a Wii. I think I bought it from someone, and but before that it was a Sega Dreamcast. So I didn't have an Xbox 360, but I always went over to my buddy's house and played at his house on different afternoons or evenings, and really, really good stuff. And thing to be said about games, I know a lot of people may have a lot of negative things to say. I think there are a lot of arguments for, hey, you shouldn't spend too much time on that, don't waste so much time on that, and I get that. But I will say it did help forge friendships and really, really strong bonds with some of those guys that I played with, and one in particular who's my brother. I mean, he is a very dear friend. Anyways, getting back to the story. So what happened was, we had gone to P.F. Chang's because at that time I really, really loved their food, and I was like, hey, I just want to go eat there, and then we can play some games. And so went to P.F. Chang's, only to find out that the guys had pitched in and bought me an Xbox 360. So that was really cool. You don't typically hear about friends buying friends game systems, but I actually had that happen. It was a really, really cool surprise, and was very, very thankful for that. It was really, really nice. So always will be grateful for what my buddies did for me. I used the heck out of that Xbox. It was definitely well used. They did not waste their money. In fact, I wound up getting the red ring of death, which, if you haven't heard of that, it was a common issue with the 360s, where the lights that would go in a circle would go red whenever something was wrong, and typically majorly wrong. And so I got to get into an adventure of trying to fix Xboxes and trying to do that for people, or buying Xboxes, fixing them and reselling them. But it was incredible. It was incredible. Good old Xbox 360. Glad we don't have those anymore. But it was a good step for the video game industry. It was a big step, really, really big step for the video game industry whenever the 360 came out. So anyways, all that being said, is sometimes friends buy friends game systems, and that's really cool. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and dive into the main topic. As I told you, it will be a shorter show today, and sorry for everyone who is maybe hoping for a longer show. It will be a little bit shorter show today, but that's all right. We're good. We're good to go. So we're going to talk about some of the secondhand selling apps, buying and selling apps, or even buy, sell, and trade apps. Things like Craigslist, letgo, OfferUp. Those are some of the big three that are out. Of course, eBay is really big as well. Sorry, eBay is one of the biggest, but it's a little bit different format, right? It's, a lot of it's still bid based. You can buy things directly from them as well, but yeah, I don't personally like it as much because they like to get their hands into the money, and I just don't like that. On letgo, on OfferUp, on Craigslist, they keep their hands out of your money. They don't care. They just want to connect you with the right people. Now, some of those services like letgo and OfferUp have ways to bump your post, or to make it appear on higher results to try to increase your chances of selling. And I think that's part of their upselling and trying to make money. Got no problem with it. I think it's great. And so it's one of those things where you can definitely pay some, a little bit of money. Normally it's like $2 or $3, maybe. Maybe it's $5 or more. But I think it's around somewhere between $2 to $5, depending on what app you go to, and it will boost your post. It will make it show up higher. I think it may help you kind of rise to the top, kind of deal, and that way people buy your product, not someone else's, or at least it's more likely. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. So as you're looking for stuff, those apps can be really good. And as you're trying to sell stuff, those apps can be really good. Now, here's the first warning preface that I will give. I'm sure everyone is thinking about, well, isn't it dangerous? Isn't it risky? All this kind of stuff. And I want to try to be very honest with you. And here's what I'll do. I will actually roll to a break real quick. Give me just a moment. I will be right back. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. I had to step away for just a moment. But to kind of continue our conversation from earlier, Craigslist, letgo, OfferUp, those are all really, really great sites to use and apps to use. Really helpful. OfferUp and letgo seem kind of similar, but they're still different. You can have some posts that don't show up on both, but it still looks very similar. But I would recommend using those. OfferUp shows you how many views that your product has received, and it's really, really good stuff. Craigslist, of course, is the one that's used most outside of eBay. But again, I like these other apps like Craigslist and OfferUp and letgo because they allow you to basically take your money. It's your money. You're the one selling it. But eBay has a wider reach. That's the big upside for them, and they know it. And so there's something to be said for that. That they deserve a little bit of a cut of the pie. Otherwise, you wouldn't get it. And plus, they market themselves and all that kind of stuff. It's really, there's something to be said for all of that. But my recommendation is just be careful, be wise. Always meet in a public place if you're going to do that. I'm not telling you to use those. Please understand. I kind of have to give this preface. I'm not telling you to use those, but if you do, make sure you meet in a very, very public place. I always meet in a parking lot of a well-known establishment in a public area, not in a sketchy area. I just go to a really nice meetup area. Typically, I meet. So, like in fact, last night I met a guy for a microphone that I'm using this morning, and met at the Bass Pro Shops parking lot in Oklahoma City. And we're right out there in the open, and everyone can see us. That way, it just kind of keeps everything on the up and up. And I think for a lot of people, because here's the bottom line: there's a lot of people who are honestly just trying to sell stuff. There are a lot of people who are trying to buy stuff. It's not all crazy people, but it keeps everything on the up and up. Keeps everyone honest. It's right there out in the open. And you gotta be mindful. You gotta be careful. If they're not willing to do that, if they're not willing to meet in a public place, and they want you to go to their house, don't do it. Please don't do that. And if they want to come meet you at your house, say no. No. And they can meet you somewhere. If the people who legitimately want to buy stuff, most of the time, they're good with that. They're like, yeah, I'll meet you somewhere. In fact, a lot of them will probably prefer it. I never meet at someone's house, and I never let someone meet me at my house on those secondhand buying and selling apps. I just don't do it. So just kind of keep that in mind. There's just some tips whenever you're doing that. But whenever you're searching, and this is where it's going to help you as a church ministry, as a business, personal, whenever you're searching for things, I would suggest searching all three. You're going to find deals on some that you're not going to find on others. Most often what I'm finding on eBay is you're not going to get a great deal. Now, maybe as a seller, you might be able to sell it for more than what you could locally, but as a buyer, I'm just not 100% sure that you're going to get great deals. Now, maybe you don't have the product in your local area. Maybe you use Craigslist, letgo, OfferUp, and you search those and you say, I really am not finding a good deal on what I need. I need to go to eBay. And that's what it is. The great thing about eBay is you don't have to meet anyone. You just get it shipped. So, there are definitely some benefits to that. Of course, you don't get to see the product before it's shipped. You only get pictures, and you're relying on people being honest. But if you use the reviews, that's a really cool thing about eBay. letgo has that as well, and OfferUp, I believe, where it actually will rate the seller if they've sold stuff. People can leave ratings for them. And so that's really cool. It helps you be a little bit more trusting, a little bit more comfortable at least with who you're buying from and the actual buying process. It's really, really good stuff for that. But eBay is, there's just so much history there that a lot of people have been selling for a while. You can tell. And it will tell you what the rating is and how many bad reviews they've had. And my recommendation on if you see a bad review, if they're at 99.9% or 99.7 or 99.6 and they've sold hundreds or thousands of items, what you're talking about is like 1 or 2 people that have left them bad reviews. I'm just not sure that that's worth holding over their head when they have lots of other really, really good reviews. Because here's the bottom line too. We all know how people can be. We're all human, right? Sometimes people will write irrational reviews just because they didn't like it or they didn't read the post. Sometimes it's legitimately the post said, look, this is not in working condition. I'm selling this. You can buy it. You can use it for parts. You can try to fix it. Whatever you want to do with it, I don't care. But it's broken. But people don't always read that. And then they leave a bad review whenever it doesn't work. Things like that happen a lot. And other kind of irrational reviews that are just a waste. So that's my recommendation on that. Just check all that out. Make sure you're looking at the reviews. Make sure you're understanding what people are saying about the seller, if that's available to you. Now again, if you're on letgo or OfferUp or Craigslist, you may not always get the same amount of reviews or any, but it is something that can be helpful if it's there. Bottom line, ask questions. Ask questions. Hey, why are you selling it? Is this in working condition? When was the last time you used it? Things like that. That will really help you narrow down, okay, this is what's going on with it. This is why it's so cheap. And sometimes people are like, hey, I just got it. Now, something to kind of keep your eye out for. If someone says, man, this is brand new in box, just got it, but I'm selling it for half. If red flags are already going off in your head whenever you see that, they should be. Because there's a possibility that you're buying something that was stolen. And so my recommendation, avoid those. Look for other posts where someone is selling it, and they're like, hey, it's used, barely used. Sometimes you'll have people say, hey, it's still in the box, but I barely used it. Or, hey, I never used it, but I bought it a year ago. Well, that's different. That's going to be a little bit different now. Am I saying that they couldn't be lying about it? Sure they could. That's definitely possible. But it's a lot more likely to be legitimate. And so, like I said, just ask questions. Just ask questions. Why didn't you use it? Is there anything that I need to be aware of? And so that will be really good and beneficial for you as you're searching for different stuff. And this helps you in your ministry, in your business, and you personally, because it allows you to get stuff cheaper. So I got a mic that was $70 or at least $50 for $25. So really, really good stuff. So that's my recommendation. That's the wrap on Higher Tech this morning. Technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose. And man, I'll be back with you guys next week. Until then, have a great week. May God bless you. May He keep you. May He make His face to shine upon you. And may He give you peace. All right.